head to the Ajax. Now, why do we use Ajax? Firstly, understand that Ajax is no different separate programming language or such. It is a combination of web technologies that we are using, which includes JavaScript by default. So Ajax is built upon JavaScript, and it also considers HTML, CSS, everything, because whatever processing we are going to perform in the Ajax part, we are going to actually execute, or we are going to display those operations by using HTML again, because Ajax is used as a client side technology more often, right? Because we are trying to process the information uh, and then display that processed information on the client itself. But it is important to understand that sometimes we may require to send request to the server, right? Until now, what happened, whenever we were using JavaScript, we had no way to interact with the server, right? We performed validations by using JavaScript, but that data which is required to perform that validation operation, that was itself present on the HTML form, right? We were fetching the information from the respective HTML form, and then we were processing it against a given rule, and then we were validating it accordingly, right? But if we want certain data to be fetched from the server, and that too not in the trivial way, right? We perform connectivity with the server and then fetch the data. That is the trivial way of fetching the data. But we want the data to be fetched on the fly, on the go, right? Dynamically. So in that case, Ajax is useful, right? Okay, we'll discuss about it. So Ajax stands for asynchronous JavaScript and XML, right? So it is an asynchronous way of fetching the data using JavaScript, and XML is the medium or the format in which the data exchange is performed. So that is the way. And as I said, it is no different, it is no separate programming language, but we are just compiling these two things. Number one, XML HTTP request, that is used to create an object, asynchronous object is created with the help of this XML HTTP request class, right? And we will use the JavaScript as the triggering language, right? So whatever event occurs, that event will be captured by JavaScript as we were doing it earlier also, right? So we can consider JavaScript is a triggering technology to execute some Ajax code or Ajax part of the web page. Okay. And then obviously we require an access to the HTML page. So using the DOM API, we can always make changes to the HTML page and display the results of Ajax operations on the same page. Okay. So in short, if we don't want the current page to be refreshed, right, to be reloaded in order to get some data from the server, then in that case, Ajax is a suitable technology to be used. If we don't want the page to be reloaded again, we are working on the same page, but we want some updated information to come from the server, then in that case, we have to update that part of the web page by using Ajax. Okay, we have to target that part of the web page by using Ajax and make the updation without refreshing the entire. Okay, fine. We'll see a few scenarios in which Ajax is used and things will be more clear to you. Okay. Yeah, as I told, Ajax is not working independently, but it is working in combination with different technologies. Number one obviously is JavaScript. So JavaScript will, whenever we will have an event or an event will be triggered from the web page, any JavaScript function will be called, and in that JavaScript we are going to embed our Ajax code. Okay, so it is acting as a glue to perform the Ajax operations, right? Without JavaScript we cannot embed the Ajax part. Okay, fine. Moving ahead, we require the DOM API simply because we want to access and ultimately we want to manipulate the structure of web pages, because if we are going to update the structure, only then the results will be visible to the end user, right? Again, if there's CSS involved, so we can use the JavaScript again to change the CSS part, but what has to be changed, the data which has to be changed into the CSS part, that obviously will come from the Ajax computations. Okay, fine. And definitely XML HTTP request is a necessary class. I mean, the object of this class we will be using to interact with the server. Fine. Yeah, so we have a few examples of Ajax being used. So first of all, Google Maps is a very excellent example where we are not performing any trivial communication operations with the server, like we have to submit something and then we are getting data in return of that request query. It is not happening in that way. Everything is happening on the fly, right? Everything is happening dynamically. So the moment we are dragging our finger over the screen, we can see the map is getting traversed, right? So what happens is our drag event is the triggering event, and wherever we are dragging, that information is asynchronously being sent to the server and we are getting data in return, and only that portion of the map is getting updated. Okay, not the entire web page. Fine. Again, when we type on the search engine, you can see certain suggestions come down, right? A suggestion list is printed. So that again, whatever alphabets we are typing, those alphabets in a short frame of time are captured and are being sent to the server through the Ajax part. And then the possible words starting with that substring are fetched, or the possible searches, search history according to your search history, and then those are displayed in the suggestion list. So this is also done by using, remember, no trivial select query is fired, but everything is happening on the fly. Okay, autocorrect feature, we go on typing a sentence, and whenever we type a wrong sentence, it is automatically corrected in the background, right? Again, a good example of using Ajax. Yeah, voting and rating. We see feeds on different websites. Like along with feeds, we also have, for social networking websites, we see the likes and dislikes. So it is not like, for example, you're observing a video on YouTube and you like it, right? So automatically that count is incremented, but the not the entire web page that you're seeing currently is updated, but only that portion of your web page is updated where the count is displayed, whether it is related to likes or dislikes, whatever you do, right? So that count is updated on the fly by using Ajax. Okay. Another thing which using, whether you're using Instagram, whether you're using Twitter, or even if you're using YouTube for that matter. Is there an end to that web page? No. It's continuous. The more you scroll, the more videos you are able to see. It is relevant or not, that is a different thing. Depends on the recommendation system, right? Does it come to the end of the page? No. So it keeps on fetching the videos dynamically, right? The Ajax script keeps on fetching the videos depending upon your choices and your previous watch history. It is fetching videos and it is continuously providing you with those videos. You never reach at the end of that page. Okay, fine. And what we have been using Ajax for, trivially we are using it for validation purpose, just to check whether certain criteria is met before we submit the form. We use the password strength, we use the email validation, any username validation. Suppose I'm trying to register for a website and I'm trying to select a username. So it continuously checks whether that whether that username is available or not. So it gives that username that you have typed is not available in case that username is already registered. Understood. So that is where we can use Ajax scripts to interact with the server side dynamically. Fine. You can see the actual working diagram of Ajax. So as I told, from the HTML page, which we consider as the presentation section, as the hierarchy is concerned, so we are considering the HTML page is some event is performed on the HTML page, which gives a call to some JavaScript function, right? Now, from that JavaScript function, an XML HTTP request object is created, and that request is sent to the respective respective web server, simply being targeted on any server side script, right? On the website, there may be a PHP script, there may be a servlet, there may be a JSP, which is going to accept this XML HTTP request, right? In order to provide a response, it may have to interact with the third tier, that is your database. So it is trying to fetch some data through the database in this part, and then it is preparing a XML formatted data, which is given as a response to the HTTP XML HTTP request that is coming, right? Now that XML data is arranged again by using the Ajax script. You are going to arrange the XML file data into the HTML file, HTML page, and if at all some CSS part is to be updated, that is being done over here by the callback function, and then the updated HTML page is getting displayed back to the user, right? So standard working diagram for any Ajax request. Fine. Okay. So in order to sum up that diagram, we will see how many steps or which are the steps in order to process any Ajax request. So firstly, an event should occur on the client browser, right, on the respective page. Then an XML HTTP request object is created for that request to be forwarded to some server. After it being created, it is configured. So whatever URL is expected, I mean the URL of the PHP or the servlet script, that is the object is configured with all those things. Then we are making a asynchronous request with the send method. We usually do this. With the send method, we are sending a request to the web server, and then any XML document which contains the result is being sent from the web server back to the client browser, and then the callback function is processing that result. It is updating the HTML, and then the result is displayed. Fine.